But also, so we're going to go over these 10 tips, and these 10 tips are about making NPCs memorable. These 10 tips are not about how to gain weight and how to the before and after images of how to gain weight.
Begin with having an agenda. Something drives every single person on this planet. If they don't, that's where you have self-deletion. And obviously, they're no longer there as persons. So if a character exists in your world, they have some kind of motivation. So you want to make this motivation clear to the player characters. You know, the NPCs aren't there just to serve the PCs with information when they need it or to sell them weapons when they need it.
Yeah.
Why is this person a blacksmith, for example?
Yeah. It makes such a difference for a player for an NPC to have a motivation. That alone can make them memorable. If you go to the bartender and they seem a little bit down and you're like, what's going on? And they're like, my wife is really sick. I'm trying to find a cure. I just can't afford it. And I'm working overtime, whatever. That's far more memorable than the bartender that just goes, what are you going to drink next?
Right.
And, oh, he just happens to be a orc with a beard and a rainbow sash on his head.
Yeah.
Which one's more memorable?
Yeah, exactly. So you do have in pop culture some NPCs and characters and villains that are memorable because of certain physical traits. Like, for example, Captain Hook, right? You've got the mustache and you got the hook or whatever. But besides that, yeah, people remember him for that. But it's not really something that's going to stir an emotion in you. Is he scary? No, he's kind of a buffoon. You know,
Yeah.
even all the Lost Boys, they make fun of Captain Hook. They're all just always messing with him, and like he's just a joke, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so he's not really a valuable character that's going to stir emotions in you unless you start feeling sorry for him. And then,
I mean, when you look deeper into the story, he is a representation of lost childhood, a representation of when someone becomes an adult and they go too far into that direction and have no memory of their childhood and instead learn to hate anyone who is trying to keep in touch with their childhood. Or
when
their
you understand that,
innocence.
but exactly, and that's the key to really understanding the story, and that's why you need to have a full story that's not just focused on your main characters. That's why you have to create a whole world for it to mean something to the people who are engaged in it. Right. So for example, so how can you do this? How can you show the motivation of an NPC without having every NPC walk up to the characters and say, "Hey, I'm motivated by, because I'm poor, I'm motivated by money." Well, it's very simple. Every single campaign I've played has a part where the PCs are trying to gather information, and either in a tavern or throughout the town or whatever, and they start hearing rumors, right? So why just give the rumors to the players? Why not, hey, you're talking to this guy, and instead of just giving the information for free, he's motivated by the fact that he's poor, or maybe his mom is sick and he needs to buy a horse to move her to a different town where there's a healer that can help her. And now, hey, you know what? I have heard of, this guy at her side, but it ain't free. So now the players have to bribe him, and maybe he'll drop hints throughout the conversation, after you give him the money. Or maybe they don't give him enough, and he says, I'm still, one gold piece shy of getting this horse that I need, or whatever.
Yeah. You don't have to give every single NPC a motivation. That would be too overwhelming.
Of course.
Too much. But if you want to make a particular NPC more memorable because they're important to the story, or because you think it would add a little bit more flavor to that scene, then by all means do that. And something as minor as, just like Gio said, that one particular reason for him to want to charge them a little bit more, that alone could make a big difference.